When Law & Order is the headline, what does it mean for us? I'm Ebony K. Williams, an attorney and former public defender, and host of a brand new podcast where we're going to cross-examine news-making cases and famous faces to understand the context.
And I'm Dustin Ross. I'm a TV writer, a cultural observer, and I am thrilled to be co-hosting Holding Court with Ebony K. Williams.
Now, this is not a podcast about the law.
This is a show for the people.
Yeah, to help us navigate a rigged system.
Teachable moments from the so-called Law & Order headlines.
Listen to Holding Court with Ebony K. Williams on the iHeartRadio app, on Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. Presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar.
DJ Envy, Angela Yee, and Charlamagne the God.
Congratulate you, Hall of Famers. So honored to be in the presence of radio royalty.
It's the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club.
This is a big deal.
I think that y'all have a certain amount of respect for, what everybody else does, and y'all are just the best at what y'all do.
We love y'all, man. Thank you for being the people's champs.
Probably the greatest.
All three of y'all.
Listen to The Breakfast Club on the Black Effect iHeartRadio Podcast Network, on the iHeartRadio app, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Thanks for listening to the Best of the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon podcast. Be sure to catch us live every weeknight from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern, 7 to 11 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Find your local station for the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon at foxsportsradio.com, or stream us live every night on the iHeartRadio app by searching FSR.
This is the Best of the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon on Fox Sports Radio.
Greetings and welcome inside the Jason Smith Show with my best friend Mike Harmon.
Yo.
As now we are known as the Poo Poo Take Show. After Marcus Stroman last night, unhappy with my take on the Mets, hit me up on Twitter and said, "That's a poo poo take, sir, you had about the Mets last night." So now we have to have, Mike Harmon, a poo poo take on every show, like at least one where we say, wait a minute, that could be our nominee for Poo Poo Take of the Night.
Well, there's at least 4 things that we pass back and forth tonight where the potential for chaos is certainly there. Okay. So let's see what we find, including a teacher who got himself in some trouble trying to steal from a cartel. So, I mean, there's lots of stuff going on in this world. We don't just, stick fully to box scores and the Knicks.
Yeah, when I saw that story, I said, "Ooh, is this how Better Call Saul gets into Breaking Bad? Is this how
they
happens?
Connect them?" Yes,
this is the connect. This is all.
Yeah, but here's the thing: it's a reality show for one episode, one very special episode, and then it drifts back into Odenkirk and company getting it on.
Oh, boy. Yeah, so Marcus Stroman unhappy with when I tweeted out last night that why is he running the bases and hitting if they're just going to take him out the next inning. And he said that is a poo-poo take, sir. And so now, I guess one poo-poo take a night. And it could be anything. Like, it's one, we're going to hear it. It's not like, hey, here's our poo-poo take of the night. It's going to be, hey,
get imaging and everything.
That could be the poo-poo take of the night. We might have to have that, We definitely have to have imaging and sound effects. Which are the 2 biggest things, especially on radio. Sound effects works.
No,
really
there's
well.
no question. I started sketching an image of you. I showed it to Frostberg. It needs a little bit more work before I'm ready to go live with it. But because I think I leaned you up a little too much. You look like when Michael Chiklis was in shape.
Yeah, that's okay. You can lean me up. I'm actually less. I'm one size down on my pants the last couple of months. So you can size me down. Okay. Just make sure you.
Does that just mean you stop wearing the baggiest of the baggy that you were wearing? Or?
No, it means I just stopped wearing pants. I've decided to go issue pants.
See, it's a movement I tried to start when we took over on this show back in 2014. It took you long enough. It took a pandemic for you to realize, you know what, that miserable so-and-so was right.
No, you know what?
He had it right the whole time.
I've realized I'm just going to go athleisure for the rest of my life. That's what it's going to be. That's going to be. I went from, because I had a classic look, man. Like, I went from T-shirts, jeans, and baseball caps in my 20s and my 30s into T-shirts, sweatpants, baseball hats, hoodies, right? And now I'm kind of like, okay, and I'm still in that. It's like it's a classic look. It's like you can look at pictures of me and go, boy, I can't tell what year that's from, and that's a compliment. You can't say, oh, that's from the 90s because he's wearing the Nike pants with the big Nike all the way up and all the way down the side, and he's wearing like really bright colors like people wore in the early 90s. Like, here's an orange top and lime green pants. No. You look at me and go, I don't know what year that is. I really don't, because the guy's got a classic look. That's me, man.
Can I just say this? I would like for all those bright colors to come back, because, people have during the pandemic maybe gotten out of the house and walked a little bit more.
Yeah.
And everybody wearing all black ain't helpful at night.
No,
okay?
that is true.
You're not helping me.
That is true.
Put something else on, even if it's just a reflective sticker. Steal something out of your kid's toy box.
Reflective
Good God,
sticker.
man. Yes, something.
Yeah, it is tough. I do agree with that. When you see people walk, like, whoa, you got to wear brighter colors, man, if you're going to walk at night. Man. That's how it is, man. Hey, look, wear orange, right? Syracuse is in the Sweet 16. The Mets win again tonight. The Knicks are winning. I mean, orange is kind of coming back into fashion.
I think you took it a little too far. It was a good line. It was a good run, and then you made it all about you.
No, I'm just saying, hey, the Mets are 1-0 since my poo-poo take comment from Marcus Stroman. And the Mets are 1-0 because they won again tonight.
How much feedback did you get from Mets fan? Have you been kicked out?
No, Mets fans have kind of been down the middle. Some have been, have you ever watched a baseball game before? Stroman was great. And I'm like, that's not what I'm saying. And the other fans are like, I don't know what the hell Luis Rojas is doing either. So it's kind of split down. It's just like true New York. It's right down the middle. It's polarizing. Some people love it. Some people hate it. That's
it was just funny. I mean, you had about an 18-minute half to the bottom of the sixth. He got on base maybe 7 minutes in, so that's like 12 minutes that he was out of the dugout.
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure what changed in the philosophy there, but hey, he stuck up for his guy, and that's what you hope for. And as a fan, you got to be happy about that. As a radio host, you got the line of the night, especially because he added the comma sir.
Yes,
that's the key.
Yes.
The sir is everything. Just saying that's a poo-poo take. Anybody can say that. But when they says sir,
well, he should. I'm older than he is. He should be saying that. That's how it goes. I dig Marcus Stroman for that.
Yeah, even with the poo-poo take, he still showed you respect.
He did. I like that.
Respect your elders.
That is right, my friend. The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon. Twitter at How About a Fresca. Mike at Swollen Dome. So if you could criticize us, if you end it with sir, we'll generally be okay with it.
Oh, I'm okay with it anyway. You're welcome to not think all the way through with me and stop and jump off and decide that I'm wrong. But you got to hear the whole thing. That's the key. Open your ears. Listen before you start tweeting away.
Yes, Mrs. Trunchbull, sir. Okay, so marquee game of the night in the NBA. We got a lot to get to. Aaron Donald's in fights. Jadeveon Clowney has a new team. But marquee game of the night in the NBA, the battle for first place in the Eastern Conference, Sixers and the Nets. And this was all Philadelphia, all Joel Embiid. And here's how it ended.
And the Sixers up by 6 will dribble away the remaining time and win this showdown. A little shaky down the stretch, but they prevail by the final score of 123-117 here at the center as they beat Brooklyn and take over first place.
There it is, Sixers Radio Network on the call. Joel Embiid saying, hey, don't forget about me for MVP. Remember when I was the MVP? 39-13 on the night for the Sixers. A huge night for him, but the Nets play, once again, they find a way to play without one of their big three. Kevin Durant didn't play, left hamstring injury. He's still coming back from it. He played nearly 30 minutes a night ago, so they sat him out to rest tonight. They still had Irving. Kyrie Irving played, so they still had him play. Obviously, they're still without James Harden. Kyrie goes for 37 and 9 assists.
Played 33 minutes, so that's one that you hang a star on in some of this, too.
I am going to throw out a new over-under because this is not even close. Because at the beginning of the season,
you cashed that ticket. Now you're looking to double down.
We got to do something else here now because I told you that, hey, the big three in Brooklyn is combustible. When things get to the playoffs this year, it's going to be crazy. You have no idea how they're going to respond. Look, we've talked about defensively how bad they're going to be. But KD, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden hear everything. We don't know how healthy they're going to be. We don't know when Kyrie Irving is going to decide to need some time off for whatever reason. And I told you, all totaled with the Nets, they're going to play less than 50 games together before it's broken up, before somebody gets traded someplace else. They will play less than 50 games. They could win the championship this year and still easily hit under 50 games because they have 17 games left, and the big three have played a grand total of 7 games together. 7 games, right? KD sits out tonight. Look, still waiting, to get James Harden back, but KD's not playing. 7 games together. So now I got a new over-under for you for the rest of the season. Mike, you ready for this?
Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, there's 17 games left in the season. If I said to you for the rest of the season and playoffs, right? Count rest of the season and playoffs. Mm-hmm. If I put the over-under for the number of games the Nets' big three play together at 20, are you taking the over or the under? Rest of the regular season and playoffs. Over-under is 20.
What'd you say, 17 games left, right?
Yes. They got 17 games left after tonight. And you got playoffs. You got
so if I go through
potentially
the playoffs and I look at what the maximum would be, we're getting near to what are we in the mid 40s would be the max games, right? Mm-hmm. If they went to the end of it,
20 games.
Yeah, I'd almost have to take the under.
Yeah,
that's a good line. That really
20,
is.
20 is a great number because health is the key to number one. Look, the guys haven't been healthy all year, right? Suddenly Kevin Durant is not going to be able to play every other night in the playoffs when everything is on the table. When defensively other teams are going to play them tighter, they're going to have more responsibility. Kevin Durant's not going to be able to do that. I don't know if James Harden's going to be able to do that. Kyrie, who knows he's going to be around? He may say, yeah, I feel good, but I need some time off. Why? What is it, your birthday? Is it somebody else's birthday? Is there a baptism going on? Is there a quinceañera? What is it? What do you got going on? So health is number one, but you don't know how many times they're going to be able to play together by the end of this year, by the end of the regular season, and then you get into the playoffs, and who knows how those rounds are going to go. Because I still firmly believe no matter what the Nets have going on, they'll win those first couple rounds pretty easily. But when they get to the conference finals, that's when things are going to get really, really tough. The first time they have to play either maybe the Sixers, or they potentially would have to play the Bucks, or hey, Boston is playing really, really well too. That's when things are going to get really difficult. But you have a game every other night through 2 rounds and plus, and they're going to suddenly be healthy. No, I'm taking the under on this before their season ends, with them playing less than 20 games together by the time it's all said and done, end of the playoffs.
See, what I enjoyed about this, because I'm going to extrapolate this back into the playoffs itself. Sixers, hit the, they went on cruise control. And all of a sudden, because of the bench players and all the tertiary players, suddenly we had a 3-point game down the stretch. One of those, if you turned away, hey, you might want to go back because it suddenly got snug late in this one. Again, it's a victory for the Sixers. Kevin Durant was enthusiastically clapping on the sideline. Kyrie Irving was all fired up, seeing the effort that the bench got. So your over-under, I think, is good and fine. I just think there's going to be situations in the series where they say, okay, you get the day off. Who's in the rotation? Who's calling? Who's the coach today? Are you calling off so you can be player coach and just put the jumpsuit on instead of the uni? I mean, what are we doing? So we'll see what happens. It's a curiosity, just like with. I think a lot with what we've heard with the Lakers here, right? All of these different timelines and theories about LeBron and Anthony Davis and exactly how injured they are, right? Because everybody assumes as soon as they show up, then forget it. They come back 100%. There's no ramp up. There's no ill effects from the injuries. So it's like, all right, are you telling me you have inside information that these guys aren't hurt? It's like, what am I missing here? Right? If it's a high ankle sprain and whatever is truthfully wrong with Anthony Davis, right? I do the show with LeVar Arrington. He had some injuries of his own and certainly was around a lot of them in the NFL. And he saw it and he goes, they calling it a calf? Yeah, that's fine. That's a fancy way of saying there's something potentially really bad. And he kept bringing up Kevin Durant's injury when talking about it. I don't want to put any bad juju out there, but the way they make it sound, like, yeah, he'll be fine for the final 4 weeks of the regular season. And it's like, really that fast? They're just going to jump right back in full. And when we look at the Nets, not only yours, you're looking at Kyrie Irving, who's a wild card. I get it in terms of where he's been for the regular season. But we've also talked about how little the regular season means. for most of these teams in the NBA anymore. So how much is injury versus, all right, could I go in 3 days? Yeah, probably. Do I need to? Nope. Sit out another week. And I think that's one of the unknowns of this as we get more and more data on injuries and everybody bemoaning the schedule that they agreed to. We talked about the play-in tournaments last night, and now more and more of, we shouldn't have had, and we should never have back-to-backs again, and we should never do this, and really looking to turn over everything that's been done schedule-wise for the NBA based on the spate of injuries this year. I guess once the playoffs start, we'll find out who answers the bell. And maybe that'll push back on some of the data.
Is you think suddenly the playoffs are going to get here, everything's going to be fine, and you're playing a game every other night, and you haven't played. We saw what happened to the Clippers last year. Right, we saw it.
Well, they didn't like each other, and they hated their coach.
You don't have any time to gel, and they're regular season good. And, again, you don't know. Can Kevin Durant play every other night in the playoffs? Probably not.
No, exactly.
And you're going to need all three guys to make it to the NBA Finals and win it. You could do nice in the regular season with 2 or 3 guys. You need all three guys to do it. And
you'll be able to get through this conference with 2 guys if they're playing every night.
You can get through your first round or so, and then you get into a lot of trouble because the defense gets harder, gets tougher, it gets called, the games get closer. You're not going to see games aren't going to be 135 to 117 like they are for the Nets. It's going to be a big adjustment for the Nets, and I'm telling you, you can't just say suddenly, okay, now we're healthy and ready to go. It's going to be really hard for them to do that. So I'm taking under the 20. I'm taking under the 20.
I think it's a fun number, and we'll anxiously await it. Because if you're wrong, then that becomes the poo-poo take. I know it's a long lead for your role as poo-poo host, but, we'll put that one in the vault for a while.
Be sure to catch live editions of The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon weekdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio and the iHeartRadio app.
Good afternoon. Would you like to try a free sample of our double fudge brownie?
Oh, sure. That's very good. I'll just take one more. Just to be sure. Yep, still very good.
Some things never change, like never being able to take just one free sample. And Geico saving folks lots of money on their car insurance.
Is that macadamia nut I taste? Let me take one more.
Sir?
Yeah, I thought so.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
The Death and Life of Kobe Bryant is a limited series podcast that looks back at the investigation of the crash a year ago that killed the basketball superstar, his daughter, and 7 others.
LA County Fire, 83.
Helicopter crashed into a mountain. We heard it, and now I'm looking at the flames.
The Death and Life of Kobe Bryant takes a different look at one of the biggest tragedies of 2020.
NBA star Kobe Bryant was on board that helicopter.
Kobe Bryant died earlier this afternoon in Los Angeles in a helicopter crash. News reports are just coming in.
The Death and Life of Kobe Bryant includes exclusive content and a look at the legacy number 24 leaves behind.
He never wanted to rest on the laurels of, hey, I'm just a sports star. Anything that he was going to put his name to, anything he was going to help with, he and Vanessa were going to give it their all.
Listen to The Death and Life of Kobe Bryant on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And who knew that after one half inning of baseball and a no-hitter, we have drama, we have intrigue, we have controversy coming off of Carlos Rodon's no-hitter against the Cleveland Indians. It just happened a few moments ago. So Carlos Rodon turns into one of baseball's immortals, but he could have been ultra immortal because he was a hit by pitch away from a perfect game. The White Sox beat the Indians 8-0, and we'll get to Jose Abreu and the bleeping superstar stud he is in a couple of seconds because this top of the ninth had everything, man, I'll tell you. But clearly, this is the story right now. Carlos Rodon of the White Sox just had a tremendous game tonight. Watching him throw, it's like watching Kershaw in his prime. The slider that Rodon has was breaking from one side of the plate to the other. It was just an incredible night for him. He gets to the ninth inning. He gets the first out. He is at 101 pitches, so he still has juice left in the tank. It's not like it's been a big night and the Indians have been smacking the ball. The White Sox are making great plays all over the place. No, he has been in complete control. And then on an 0-2 pitch, okay, an 0-2 pitch to Roberto Perez, this is what happened.
Another 0-2. That's low, almost hit him. Did Perez get hit? He did. He got clipped on the foot, and he heads to first.
So there it is, White Sox Radio Network on the call. First thing to say, Perez absolutely was hit on the foot. This was
no question.
This wasn't Major League Baseball. Hey, I don't understand where that replay came from. Yeah, I don't know either. But didn't he touch the plate? No, he never touched the plate. No, he absolutely got hit. He was hit on the fly. This was a slider that was likely Rodon was throwing to land out of the strike zone to try to get Perez to wave at, because that's what you do at 0-2, right? You don't throw a strike. You try to get a guy over ranks and chase a bad pitch.
Yeah, he just thrown three high hard fastballs. So
here comes a different pitch, and it's in the dirt and it's behind. It hits him on the back foot. So it hits Perez on not the front foot. It hits him on the back foot. Already, Michael Conforto's phone is going off. Why is everybody calling me right now? So you see, Rodon has a little bit of words for Perez going up the first baseline. I can't tell what he was saying. Like he's watching him go. I think he says, "Are you all right?" And then I can't tell what he's saying, and Perez doesn't say anything back to him. Like the first thing he says is, "You all right?" And then he says something else, and I can't read his lips.
Yeah,
and Perez just looks
knew
at him
he did
and
him wrong, so
head.
he was not going to respond.
He didn't do him wrong. Okay,
he made no effort to get out. This isn't a White Sox thing. This is just in general going off the clown show from Conforto. If you don't make an effort to get out of the way, look, I can't fault a good strategy. It works for him, right? He gets to first base, and as we know in any sport, all it takes is a base runner or a first down via a bogus penalty to open the door to a comeback. We know this, but you got to show me some effort. Like that was what I was taught as a kid. You at least have to make it look like you're trying to get out of the way.
If it was a fastball, I get it, right? If it was a fastball that he doesn't get out of the way and he just turns, right? Because that's what batters do sometimes. It's a fastball and they know I'm just going to turn to make it look like I'm getting out of the way and I get hit. This is a breaking pitch. When you throw something like that and it hits him in the back foot of the batter's box.
Nobody likes to get hit in the foot, though, Jason. You move your feet. Move your feet.
This is a breaking pitch that comes and hits him. What do you expect him to do? I mean, I don't know. He actually does kind of
jump to try to get out of the way.
He actually does kind of hop up. Look, he almost hit the next batter. He threw the same exact pitch and almost hit him on the foot again. He almost threw the same exact pitch. No, dude, this is legit. I'd come to your side on this, buddy. I would. But
I'm not talking side. I'm just saying that the guy didn't make an effort to move his feet.
He did. No, if you look, he did move his right foot back just as the ball was getting in there to hit him. He did, because then that's where he saw, hey, this ball is coming back. He did move it a little bit. Now he didn't leap out of the way, but this is a breaking pitch. When it comes in to hit you, it's kind of hard to get out of the way when a lefty's throwing to a right-handed batter and the breaking pitch is coming in towards you. It's a hard thing, buddy. I mean, look, it's a no-hitter he got. I'd be with you on this, but it was a legit play. It was a legit. This wasn't.
Oh, he got hit.
One of those.
No, it's legit. He got hit. I'm just saying he didn't make a legit effort to get out of the way.
It's hard.
And we can agree to disagree on that. Yes, it's hard. Baseball in and of itself is hard.
It's not Conforto. This is not Conforto. Hey, I'm leaning into the pitch where
no, it's not in the zone. Obviously, it's not the same full idea, but it's still you didn't make a concerted effort to avoid said contact with baseball.
If the ball, but here's the thing: how can you avoid it when it's curving towards you? I mean, that's the thing. If it's coming straight at you, yeah, you can make a move to try to get out of the way. But when it's coming at you on a curve and on a way, it's kind of hard to do it. And you think the ball is going to go past you, right? If this was going to hit him on the front foot, right, I get it. Like, if it's coming in, boy, it's a bad pitch. It's going to hit him on the front foot, and he doesn't make a move to get out of the way. I get it. But this is now coming in behind him and onto his back foot. I mean, I don't get that. I mean, I know this is going to be an unwritten rules of baseball conversation, which is awesome because I love unwritten rules of baseball conversations. But if the back foot, then it's a breaking pitch coming in. I think that's legit. He did what he could, and he didn't do a conforto. He didn't try to do something that was like breaking all kinds of rules. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with how I feel bad for Rodon, but I'm okay with how it turned out.
No, at the end, he got his no-hitter. And this is a guy that was debating whether he was continuing in baseball. A lot of rehab, a lot of injuries. The post-game interview with him was fantastic. Steve Stone, you could tell, trying to ask the questions, was choking up, just knowing the road that Rodon took to get back. And when he was asked point blank, was there any thought, when the White Sox offer, what? He goes, no, I was coming home. I'm staying here. This is home. This is my family. I wanted to be part of when the winnings started. Right? We got started last year. I wanted to keep it going. It was great because the first question was, hey, Carlos, where's your mind right now? And he laughs like a belly laugh on a toe ball. And he pauses, because he doesn't know how they're going to react. And he's clearly waiting for them to either laugh with him or have some reaction. And he's like, no, man, that was everything. That was cool. That was great. And look, the unwritten rules of all of it. Look, I'm a believer. I know Ben had a big take last week on the San Diego no-hitter, right? Of why aren't you bunting? Why aren't you doing anything you can to get on base? And that's generally where I am. But, when it's the trying to, whether you actually try to get out of the way of a pitched ball is always one that, as a kid, that's what you were taught. You at least had to make some sort of effort. And in this case, we can argue about the effort made, but it's a no-hitter, and it's a huge redemption story for a guy that has gone through a long, weary road. And it saved the bullpen, because the White Sox bullpen has been gassed. It hasn't been very good. So they're all going to buy him extra stuff for the effort he put forth tonight as well. And Tony La Russa didn't have to make any other decision other than he didn't pull a Dave Roberts and pull him out of the game.
I want you to watch it again, and I want you to watch the back foot of him as the ball is coming in. He starts to move his foot back just before the ball hits him. All right, so he starts to move his foot back. He doesn't move it back a lot, but you can see, like, when the ball is over the plate, he starts moving his foot back almost if he knows the ball is coming this way, and part of the self-preservation is get out of the way. Watch the slow-mo replay, and you can see it to a point where you can see him moving a little bit, and then the ball hits him. Now, it doesn't mean
Rodon's
not going
to convince me it's not a lazy effort.
It's some kind of now we're talking about the degree of effort to get out of the way of a pitch. You know what? Throw a better pitch if you're Rodon. Throw a better pitch. Don't throw one that could hit a guy.
Now you're just mad because you got called a poo-poo take artist yesterday.
I should tweet at Rodon and see if he says it's a poo-poo take.
Fest.
You tell you poop. But it is still a no-hitter for Rodon, right? Let's celebrate the good stuff too, because we'll talk about this. This is the big story. But he did get the no-hitter a couple of batters later, and here's how it sounded.
Another 3-2. Ground ball to third. Moncada up with it. Throw to first. It's a no-hitter. Carlos Rodon has no-hit the Cleveland Indians. The 20th no-hitter in Sox history.
So there it is, White Sox Radio Network. He gets it. And look, the celebration is on. We'll bring you some sound from Rodon when we get it, talking about it, talking about the big hit by pitch. But the other thing that needs some time on this, and clearly this is some kind of play, the first batter of the ninth inning hits a slow ground ball to first base, and Jose Abreu goes out to get it. Jose Abreu, by the way, last year's MVP in the American League. And he makes a play, and he knows he can't get to first base unless he does something out of the ordinary, outside the box. And he leaps with a stretch to get his foot to. Now, he's a big dude, so he leaps to stretch with his right foot to get to first base like he's going to stamp on it, almost like he's landing on it. And this could have gone bad so many ways, right? Yeah. This could have been a bad ankle. This could have been a broken foot. This is some kind of dangerous play to make. And the bleeping guy made it anyway. What a stud. I mean, that was some kind of play. And then he gets up and he tosses the ball. And I saw that and I said, oh, my goodness, man. Now, I would have felt awful if that went back and said, oh, yeah, no, he beat it, so he's really safe. I would have felt awful. But that is some kind of play by Jose Abreu, man. He puts everything and says, I don't give a crap. I got to save this no-hitter. And he makes that kind of play to preserve it. And yes, he saves the perfect game, but then Rodon loses it, but he keeps the no-hitter. He doesn't have it without that play by Jose Abreu. And I've never seen a guy to do something like that. I expected to see him dive to first base, right?
Dive with his glove extended.
Right? Yeah, dive with his glove to try to get there. And instead he's like, no, I can get there with my 9-foot-long leg, and I can get there and preserve this no-hitter. That was some kind of play, man. I don't know that I'm going to see a better, more fun, great play in baseball this year than that, because that really was something.
All I know is he'll be seeing the trainers a lot for the next couple of days after that. Rodon was over there. He's like, you okay, dude? I mean, they're obviously pumped that he made the play because he was in no man's land. Right, Rodon coming over, kind of moving towards covering first, but knows he's not beating him down the line. So Abreu makes the heroics, and then the look of relief on Rodon's face that not only did he get the out, that Abreu got back up and walked back to his position, because that looked awkward, all kinds of crazy as he dove towards the base. But I don't know how many better plays you'll see this year at any position. Just an amazing effort, and a guy that, he gave his body up there. Massage therapy in the offing for him coming out of that, and a big ice bath, no question. But a huge play, and you thought the baseball gods were with you until that faded off.
Oh yeah,
pitch.
I thought he's going to throw underhanded and keep the no-hitter after and keep the perfect game after that. He's not going to have to worry about it. Here you go, man. Go ahead, you're going to hit it somewhere. Somebody's going to make a play. I mean, really, that was some kind of play. And not that they didn't love him anyway in Chicago. He's been a well-loved star for a long time. But that's one of those plays where you look at it and go, man, the guy is going to have the respect of the baseball world for the rest of his career for that. They're going to write baseball books, and you're going to see a history of no-hitters. And Jose Abreu is going to be immortal for that play right there. Forget about the fact of the career he's been having so far and how good he's been. That play right there, I mean, that's all you need to know about baseball and why people play. To make a play like that, there was no hesitation. There was no, I'm in no man's land. I can't, there was no business decision by Jose Abreu at that point to go, oh, I can't really toss the ball. I can't really do anything. I'm in no man's land. No, I'm going to stick my 9-foot-long foot out there, and I'm going to make that play. That is some kind of play.
Give the first base umpire credit, called it decisively. No Enrico Palazzo, but to the quick punch out. Right? No, because I saw, again, owing to the one live game I've seen this year, I saw a couple of plays where the umpires were putting on a show in Cadillac. It's like, okay, you got the call wrong. Go watch the replay. They're going to overrule this, you fool. You got all excited thinking you made the right call, and you weren't even close. And then it got overruled, and, well, we may or may not have heckled him from where we were sitting down the first base line for the play that went awry. But I'm happy. My brothers got to see this one live in Chicago, so they're texting me pictures of Rodon in his post-game and all the Gatorade baths and everything he got. So a big moment there because you had a crowd. Last year we wouldn't have been able to have the cheers and the exultation from the fans. So a pretty cool moment in White Sox history, and one that we're not talking about the Mets. So I'm gonna run with this as long as I can.
Hey, the Mets won tonight, buddy. That's 3 in a row. The Mets are 1-0 since Marcus Stroman told me I had a poo-poo take on the Mets.
Well,
last
I bet
night.
you that's posted. That's posted in the clubhouse, buddy. Are you kidding? There's the cartoon drawing that I made of you that makes you look like either Mr. Clean or Michael Chick. I think might be up on the wall.
So the second no-hitter we've had in the last 5 days where the only batter to reach base has been via a hit by pitch. Padres no-hitter Joe Musgrove. Coming up next, we'll have more on this. We'll hear from Carlos Rodon. There have been a few times in MLB history where a single hit by pitch has ruined a perfect game. We got that more coming up next right here. Jason Smith, Mike Harmon, a big night. And yes, unwritten rules in baseball and getting out of the way of hit by pitches. Keep it here. Fox Sports Radio.
Be sure to catch live editions of The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon weekdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific.
Hey, it's me, Rob Parker. Check out my weekly MLB podcast, Inside the Parker, for 22 minutes of piping hot baseball talk featuring the biggest names and newsmakers in the sport. Whether you believe in analytics or the eye test, we've got all the bases covered. New episodes drop every Thursday, so do yourself a favor and listen to Inside the Parker with Rob Parker on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast.
Joining us now on the hotline.
Switching to Geico is a good idea, especially when you consider everything.
First off, Geico makes it easy to switch. They have licensed agents available 24/7 online or over the phone.
But if it's so easy, you might start thinking everything is easy, even big wave surfing. And it's not. It's actually quite difficult.
Well, if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds on car insurance. And you could keep saving by bundling your motorcycle, boat, and RV, plus your home or renter's insurance.
But saving money might lead you to make some questionable purchases, like a 20-foot feather boa. And do you know how hard it is to clean a 20-foot feather boa?
Well, they do have an industry-leading mobile app you can use to pay your bill, file and manage a claim, or add a new driver.
But when life gets a little easier, it makes you too confident, and you start calling everyone Ace. And you're better than that.
Well, Geico has a 97% customer satisfaction rating and has been saving people money for 85 years. It's hard to beat that.
But you're right.
Switch to Geico. It's obviously a good idea.
QAnon is now the most prolific online conspiracy theory of the 21st century. None of their predictions came true, Q has vanished, and the storm never came. But QAnon is very much still alive. Now, many people seem to think that because Trump is no longer president, QAnon is over. Unfortunately, that's not the case. There are hundreds of thousands of them still hanging on. And, believe it or not, some of them still think Q's so-called plan is being followed to the T. We'll be showing you that just because you're not seeing it everywhere now, doesn't mean QAnon has gone away. Join me, Jake Hanrahan, for Season 2 of Q Clearance. We'll be documenting how QAnon has evolved. Listen to Q Clearance on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Tickets are on sale now through AXS.com for our 2021 iHeartRadio Music Festival. Live music is back September 17th and 18th in Las Vegas. The biggest artists in music come together for one weekend with performances you've never seen before and will never see again. Billie Eilish, Cheap Trick, Coldplay, Dua Lipa, Florida Georgia Line, Just Added, J. Cole, Journey, Khalid, Lil Baby, Maroon 5, Nelly, Sam Hunt, Weezer, a special guest performance by Phineas, and more.
From T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival is the ultimate once-in-a-lifetime experience. Get tickets now while you still can through AXS.com.
For more on this, more on Marcus Stroman and my poo-poo take from last night. It is longtime Major League Baseball insider. You can check out the Hall of Justice podcast, Sports with Friends podcast, friend of the show, and I use those terms loosely. It is Seth Everett. You can follow him on Twitter at Seth_Everett. What's happening, my man?
What's up, guys?
What up?
I thought you just wanted to have me on because Stroman blocks me, so I didn't see your tweet unless Frostberg sent it to me.
Oh, wait, Marcus Stroman blocked you on Twitter?
But Carlos Rodon threw a no-hitter, so we might as well leave with that.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll go with that first. We'll go with that first.
Come on, we went to Syracuse. We know journalism.
Yeah, exactly. First things first, what'd you think of the hit by pitch?
He could have gotten out of the way.
You see?
But the Jose Abreu's play right before it was incredible.
Oh,
I mean, the athletic ability that he showed to get there was outstanding. And that's when you start to believe. You know, I'm never a believer in no-hitters. I have no opportunity, if I am ever in a ballpark, you'll never see a no-hitter. I am doomed to never see a no-hitter. So the fact that my phone said, you might want to put on White Sox Indians, because I was watching something else, and I'm not going to tell you what it was. But this idea that, everybody says, go in the ninth inning. It's, so it's all over social media, and we're going, and we're there. Jason Benetti, by the way, another Syracuse alum, a fantastic call. He had the right mix of painting the picture but letting the crowd do his thing. Rodon had a fantastic interview. I know you guys were on the radio.
So good. It was so good.
Just such a natural interview. I mean, it was just so honest, and I love that when players do that. I just thought the whole thing was a really cool moment. 20th no-hitter in White Sox history, and again, the play that stood out to me was Jose Abreu. The weird part about it is, people are arguing about, taking, not getting out of the way of pitches, and just taking them to get on base. Isn't that so funny? Because what other team gets cheap victories that way?
Oh, stop! You know what? We're owed. Okay, we've had years. Yes.
Why are you owed?
Yes, because you do.
Obviously, Bernie Madoff passed away today,
yes.
So you're gonna lead into that. I know, Smith, talking about what terror he wrought on your Mets.
There's a lot worse victims. So
absolutely. But we're here in sports, and the Mets were the topic of du jour. So
but here's the thing. Look, because of all of this, Rodon had it going, and you talked about believing after Abreu's play. And the thing that gets me about this, Seth, is that this is the MVP, of the American League last year, and this is a play that could have went wrong so many ways. This could have been a broken ankle,
injuries.
Oh
my God! The nailer, the runner could have broken his hand. It was great. It was pure athleticism. And, that's one thing that we don't see enough of, and I want to see more of. Yes, it's risky. And yes, the funniest part about this whole thing, and probably the most ironic part, is the only manager that didn't care about his pitch count was Tony La Russa. That's the only guy who is not thinking about it, because he understands the majesty that moment brings. Because I don't know that there's another staff that wouldn't have begged him to give up a hit so they could get him out after a certain amount of pitches. He didn't feel well his last start.
Right? No, he was scratched because he had a little gastrointestinal discomfort, according to his wife. But a guy who's only pitched 11 games coming back into this year over the last two, Seth. But I ask you this, since we had the Padres' historic Musgrove no-hitter the other night, we get Rodon tonight. Is this going to be a little bit more because of three-outcome baseball that maybe we see a few more along the way?
Well, if you'd like, I do have some statistics to back up how troubling this sport is these days. But this was a great event, so I don't want to poo-poo that. But
see how it all comes together.
Very nice. Listen, we got a 3-game lead in the loss column in the first place in the NL East. Just want to let everybody know that's where it is. Even though Marcus Stroman hates me and apparently hates Seth Everett.
Well, no, I don't understand why Marcus Stroman blocked me on Twitter. I don't understand. I've never said anything but nice things about him. I've never had a crossword with him. We've interacted maybe 3 times in each of our lives. I think what he did was he went to Noah Syndergaard's block list and screen grabbed.
He just copied his list.
I really do think that, because when he got traded, I thought it was a cool move. I thought it was a great move. He's a New Yorker. I thought that was cool. I had him on radio shows. I think I even had him on Fox Sports Radio one time, and I liked him. But all of a sudden, I couldn't follow him on Twitter. And I was blocked before I ever tried to follow him on Twitter. So that's where I think this is Syndergaard, fallout. But whatever.
But because Marcus Stroman hasn't blocked me since he told me I had a poo-poo take about the Mets last night. I can still see his tweets.
But the weird part about it is, why is he reading this stuff?
Well, obviously,
everybody reads this stuff, Seth. Have you not learned that by now?
No,
they all claim they don't, but they do.
If you are Marcus Stroman and you had the game, he had that game. He's pitching very well. He's leaving Citi Field. He's in an Uber leaving Citi Field or his own car, and he's seeing Jason Smith's tweet?
Sure, because he's looking at all the tweets, watching them up.
Yeah,
for the effort that he put forth, and then he gets Jason Smith in the middle of it.
Search of Luis Rojas? Like, did he type that into Twitter?
What are they saying about Skip?
There's a lot of guys who, and this has happened with me when Jamal Adams blocked me on Twitter. I've never tweeted at Jamal Adams. Oh yeah, he can't stand me. But I never tweeted at you because I'm not that guy. I don't.
And Oral Hershiser hates you too.
Well, if we're
going to get the full list,
out. No, but he hasn't blocked me on Twitter. I don't think.
Oh,
but Hershiser does. He probably hates me more than Stroman and Jamal Adams. But like, I don't tweet at athletes when I say this, and I go,
I don't
why?
either.
Because I'm just not that guy. But you know that there's certain athletes who go, hey, I just had a big night, whatever it is. I want to go and see what people are saying about me on social media, and they go to the verified parts of the Twitter accounts, and they click on it and see what are people with blue check marks saying. And one of the first ones that came up was mine, probably going, why is Marcus Stroman hitting and running the bases in the 6th inning if he's just going to get taken out to pitch the 7th? I don't know what Luis Rojas is doing.
Have you ever screen grabbed someone really cool following you on Twitter?
No, I haven't done that.
Linda Carter followed me on Twitter. I screen grabbed it. It's like it was my wallpaper for a while.
Oh, my wallpaper.
I'd put that and blow that up as a poster on my wall.
Right?
Yeah, I would too.
I don't understand because it pained me so much to say that the Wonder Woman 1984 movie that she has a cameo in is awful.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh my God, she's going to see this. I don't know how I do this. This is bad. This is going to ruin it. But she has not unfollowed me.
Well, you just say Linda Carter was brilliant in her moments in the movie. As for the rest of it,
her 25
Linda Carter was great.
Right.
Linda Carter was great. The movie stunk, and then she likes it.
Yeah, and anybody who wants to at me because of Wonder Woman, she stole a plane. Goodbye.
No, I'm with you. That was a terrible movie, man. I mean, really. I would go see Kong versus Godzilla again before I'd go see Wonder Woman 84.
Again? Oh, I haven't seen it the first time.
Oh, well, I saw it here. It was on Netflix. I'm like, all right, we'll watch it. I was like, ooh.
It was on HBO Max.
HBO Max. Sorry, HBO Max.
Sponsors your show.
HBO Max doesn't. Neither does Netflix. I streamed it. It doesn't matter. We have all the streaming
they're all the same.
It doesn't matter. I'm streaming it on Seth Everett's own streaming channel.
Well,
right?
but here's the thing about streaming, and there's one aspect of that, and Major League Baseball is very guilty, but so are the other sports. It should not be this difficult to stream your hometown team's games. And in baseball, it is better if you live in Baltimore, Maryland, to be a Boston Red Sox fan, and cheaper than to be a Baltimore Orioles fan. And that's a trend in sports that's going in a very, very bad direction. 35% of American households are cord cutting now. And we're seeing a lot of that going on. In order to watch your local team in baseball, basketball, hockey, now the NFL is different. Let's not include the NFL. But to see these leagues and to see your local teams, you need a cable subscription. And the Seattle Kraken had a chance to really be a trendsetter and provide an app that was direct to consumer, and they didn't. They signed with Root Sports. And it is a trend that I've done a lot of research on this, and it's a nasty thing that's going on because the people in the south side of Chicago, cord cutters, did not have access to that no-hitter tonight.
It's true. Well,
Only if you had a cable service.
I don't know that we're going away from it because clearly college sports, we're getting towards it, right? Because you can see any college football game, any college basketball game you want. If you have ESPN Plus or whatever it is, you can see anything you want in college sports. It's professional sports where I understand that, but I don't think we're going to be moving away from it. If anything, we're going to be moving towards it. It's just going to take a little bit of time because the fact that we're doing it in college, it works.
You know, and your best pal, James Dolan in Cablevision, they refuse to have their MSG app go on Apple TV. They refuse. They know how to do it. They've seen the technology. They refuse. So if you are a Knicks, Rangers, Islanders, or Devils fan, and that's my team, you have to literally go through like 17 hoops to watch the Devils, and I'm sorry, and I'm a fan, they're not worth it.
I'll tell you, if you get on Reddit, I mean, you can find a lot of places that'll let you watch. There may be some problems that are associated with it.
By Marcus Stroman.
Seth, really, another example this week. Seth is like Billy Bean in Moneyball. Hey, so Billy, I'll save you a seat. I don't watch the games. Text me and let me know what goes on.
Could you imagine if you get an alert on your phone and says Rodon has a perfect game through 8 innings? You race to your computer to turn it on, and it says this is blacked out.
It's tough. It's tough. But listen, but something like this, so you always know that, okay, MLB Network's going to have it, right? Because, you know they're going to break in.
Okay.
If you're a sports fan, you know where to go to see it.
I can lob that right back at you and say, how many streaming services have MLB Network?
Yes.
0.
Well, I also have cable.
No, I understand that. But you're not the demographic that's the future. The issue here is you have to cater to young fans. And that's the concern. The concern, and this is not just a baseball issue. The NBA, the NHL, they're having the same issue. That when ESPN Plus announced their NHL deal, in their press release, they said over 1,000 out-of-market games. That is wonderful. If you live in New Jersey and you want to see the Nashville Predators, who is that guy? Who is that person that needs that?
Seth,
I live in Jersey. I got to see the Predators play.
Hey, you know what? There's transplants all over the place. That one guy.
The Predators play. Oh, boy.
No, that's good stuff. All right, so you were going to give some stats when I asked a question about no-hitters and the 3-outcome Major League Baseball run that we're on here. By all means, let's get back, circle back to that.
Wait. I thought this was going to be negative. Wait a minute. Isn't this going to be people who have pitched a no-hitter that have blocked you on Twitter?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's a long list. We don't have time for that.
Last Tuesday, the White Sox beat the Mariners 10-4. There were 83 plate appearances, 25 strikeouts, 9 walks, 1 hit batter, 3 home runs. That means 46%. That's near half. 46% of all those balls were not even hit and play. And that game took 3 hours and 45 minutes and was only 9 innings. Before you start telling me about rule changes in the minor leagues, because that's what Morosi will tell you tomorrow night, the reality of it is fix your collective bargaining agreement and then address that issue. That's not extra innings. Extra inning rule is stupid. The idea that you are trying to tinker with what's not broken. The fact of the matter is, what I've noticed in the first 3 weeks of this season is outside of the All-Star game leaving Atlanta, the debacle in Texas, the real thing that has moved the needle are more media people noticing these trends are awful and they are unsustainable.
You can follow him on Twitter at Seth_Everett. That is at Seth_Everett for all your baseball needs or Wonder Woman 84. Seth is going to have a contest where the contest winner gets to watch Wonder Woman 84 with him live in his house. Right? Aren't you having that contest?
Yeah, we can have that contest. You're more than welcome. Lex Luthor, by the way, from Smallville on the Hall of Justice last week.
Nice. What about Sports with Friends? What do you got?
Doug Glanville, great guy. He talks about all of these issues, including the All-Star game leaving Atlanta. That's available this week on Sports with Friends.
Check it out. Seth Everett on Twitter at Seth_Everett, iTunes, Spotify to get either the Hall of Justice or the Sports with Friends podcast. Seth, as always, buddy, appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you next week. Have fun.
You guys are the best. Talk to you soon.
Be sure to catch live editions of The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon weekdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific.
This from the NFL today. a big move, and I say big and put it in air quotes because honestly, it's not that big a deal. It's more of, we see a big name and we think, it's a big move. Jadeveon Clowney joining the Browns on a 1-year, $10 million contract. And, like all the great big talk he had today going, I've been getting double teamed my whole career. Now I can't wait. I'm opposite Myles Garrett. Good luck stopping me. Dude, Jadeveon Clowney at his best was a pretty good player, right? He made the Pro Bowl 3 times, but clearly now he is jumping from team to team every season. If he was still a great player, he wouldn't be doing this. He's held out for contracts now a couple of off seasons in a row, and guess what? He hasn't gotten it. Nobody's going to give him a lot of money. Why? Because he's not a great player. If he was a great player and well sought after in free agency, he would have gotten paid. Someone would have given him a long-term deal. He would have gotten upfront money he wanted. It would have happened, right? It would have gone that way. And he is holding out. He's changing teams every year now because as much of a reputation as he's had, Jadeveon Clowney, what a physical freak, and he's just meh. Right, and this is kind of meh. It's like the Panthers getting Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is meh. Right, he's not a great quarterback. Right, he has to take some of the blame for sucking with the Jets when apparently everybody wants to blame everybody but him. Jadeveon Clowney has been okay. He had a bad year last year, and he was hurt. He's not the player he was. All right, if he doesn't blow up Vincent Smith in the Outback Bowl, he's not this guy. Right, but Clowney had that one big play, knocked his helmet off, and Jadeveon Clowney became a cult hero. Now, he has played well in the NFL. I'm not saying he hasn't. But we see Jadeveon Clowney's name, and you think suddenly this is a guy with 15 sacks. He's not that guy. Okay, he's just a guy. I like a lot of things the Browns have done over the course of the past few months. They've turned their team into a winning team, and they have a great system now on offense. They have it in place where they're going to be behind a big sledgehammer running game. They're going to be able to throw the football with their weapons. Baker Mayfield is a great quarterback for this team. Everything is working. This move, it's not awful. I'm not saying it's a terrible move because, all right, you have Jadeveon Clowney. He'll play an okay defensive end for you. But this is not going to be suddenly, oh my goodness, look how dominant this Cleveland Browns defensive line is going to be, because if Jadeveon Clowney was that good, he would have already been on a team.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to this. The price tag, $10 million, nice round number, and you can look at it going, wow, you just decided to, how much we got left? $10 million, here, you can have the rest of it. It's like giving someone the rest of your sandwich. It's like, you gonna eat that? It's like, you could take it for later. You know what? It's actually a hassle for me to take it for later. So here, you eat it. So, we can quibble about money. It's one of those when we get into, is he worth $10 million? Maybe, maybe not. But on the whole, it's not like you committed a long-term deal to him, right? It's a 1-year rental, and if he works opposite Myles Garrett, then, well, you win. They bolstered the rest of that defense. I think when you add Johnson and you got Troy Hill comes in. Greedy Williams looks like he could be a player. Denzel Ward, hopefully he's healthy for a full season. And you brought in Anthony Walker, go Cats, coming away from the Colts. So, you already did some things to make that defense, which was obviously lacking in the back seven. You got the help that you needed. So we watched what a terror Myles Garrett is without a ton of help. Right, Sheldon Richardson comes into the middle and billing. A lot of free agency moves, a lot of acquisitions, not much in the way of draft, at least on the front, right? Just kind of bringing in new deck pieces, new deck hands, as it were. Jadeveon Clowney's never going to live up to the hype. Right, you mentioned the college play. We always joked about Steve Spurrier and his injury reports of Jadeveon Clowney, and he's never going to be that guy. But on a 1-year deal where really all the attention's on Myles Garrett anyway. So, yeah, you haven't been really double-teamed the same way since you were working alongside J.J. Watt until people realized they could single you, because you weren't getting to the quarterback. You might disrupt a little bit, at the line of scrimmage, but he's never been the sack monster that was predicted. So here you roll the dice. No risk, no reward, and if it goes wrong, hopefully all those other acquisitions more than make up for any failures on his part.
Yeah, look, like I say, it's not, oh my goodness, it's what are you really going to get from him? You know, this is not, boy, the Cardinals gave a lot of money to J.J. Watt, who's going to be a part-time player and not nearly the guy
he's a leader. He's being paid like a coach.
Yes. No, this is a better signing than that because, look, J.J. Watt is not, his name also is bigger than the impact he's going to have, right? His best days have been behind him, and he's going to be a part-time guy, right? That's J.J. Watt. But leadership-wise, okay, this is, 1 year, $10 million. And it's not that Clowney's going to be awful. He's just going to be kind of a guy. And all right then. But to think that this is suddenly now, oh, look at this. Nobody that is out there unsigned right now is a huge difference maker. Okay, if somebody was out there that was really wanted, they would have been snapped up by now. I mean that's just the way it is. And Clowney is a shining example of that. How many off seasons have to go by where, boy, there's really no interest in me until I drop my price? I mean, that should tell you what teams think of you. We don't like you at this number. Oh, but at this number, maybe there's something we can do because you're going to come in and you're going to play adequately. I mean, he didn't even play adequately last year, but he's still 28 years old. And you know, when you're on the right side of 30, teams are still going to take a chance on you. But, you know, look, he didn't make it through last year, all through the season. Didn't get to the quarterback when he was healthy. So suddenly now, I'm going to be reborn opposite Myles Garrett. No, you've been on some pretty good bleeping defenses. Yeah. You know, it's not like he was playing on the Jets for the last 3 years and, boy, I got nobody around me. No, you've been on some pretty good defenses and you're still a deteriorating player.
That's too bad because the Jets had always drafted defensive tackles in quantity. He should have found a couple of guys to work with along the way if he'd been there. But here's the one thing. When you look around the AFC North, there's a lot of shuffling in terms of offensive lines. I mean, we know the Bengals. I mean, that's a complete rebuild reclamation project to try to find 5 guys that can keep Joe Burrow upright in 2021. The Ravens, you've got guys coming back from injuries, you've had retirements. Obviously, Ronnie Stanley and his health is going to be paramount to anything you're trying to do right there. Bringing in Zeitler as well should bolster things. And then Pittsburgh, they've had a little bit of a changing of the guard as well, right? As we've seen, Pouncey retired. That's a big loss. That's a big loss. That guy was a captain. He'll get a lot of Hall of Fame discussion, for as much as we talk about the eligibility of centers for the Hall of Fame. But, so maybe Clowney benefits a little bit in that regard, and that there's something to pick apart in those 3 offensive lines in the division. But to your point, is he going to be the difference maker? If that's the case, then everything else, I'm just scratching my head going, all right, those look like great moves independently, and yet it's Jadeveon Clowney who wins the day. Hey, for his sake, here's a big chance to make a mark as Cleveland tries to get over again.
The only thing better than grinding all night for your side hustle is your roommate picking you up with Mickey D's breakfast. The perfect pickup deal.
There's a deal for every morning at McDonald's.
Right now, taste breakfast perfection when you get a warm and savory sausage McMuffin with egg for just $2.50. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal.
It's Willie D. Thanks, Mom. Here to share some new info about our new podcast, Ghetto Boys Reloaded. Each and every week, we bring to you episodes featuring some of the most iconic figures in hip-hop, politics, entertainment, and more. You don't want to miss it. Each and every Monday, listen to the Ghetto Boys Reloaded podcast on the Black Effect Podcast Network, the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you listen to podcasts.